Royal Enfield, a brand I really admire, and as an Indian, feel proud to call our own. But not all of their bikes appeal to me as someone who loves riding fast and cornering. So today, I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm ranking all Royal Enfield bikes and talking about their pros and cons based on my riding experience. And yeah, some of these placements might genuinely surprise you. Which Royal Enfield do you think should be S tier or A tier? Comment below while watching this video your own list as well. Let's start with the classic 350. I really like the way this bike looks. RE has updated it just enough to feel modern, but with a silhouette that old school identity is still intact. After the J series update, with less vibration and fuel injection, it's much more livable bike now. And importantly, it hasn't lost any of that feel. Even the thump is still there. The straight handlebar, soft suspension, this thing is very comfortable. And honestly, this engine suits the bike perfectly. Everything about it is unhurried. Would I love to own one? Probably not, unless I have a 5+ bike garage. Because from an enthusiast standpoint, it gets boring. And even in the city, it's not exactly light or flickable. So for me, this one goes to C tier. And just to be clear, lower tier doesn't mean bad bike. This is purely from a handling and performance first perspective. Interceptor 650. This is probably my favorite Royal Enfield right now. I love how it sounds and how it looks, and just the overall character of that parallel twin. But this is also why I get frustrated with Royal Enfield. They build such great, incredible engine and then messed up basic things. The suspension isn't great. The foot pegs hits your shin every time you put your foot down. Like, how is that acceptable? That's basic interaction design, Royal Enfield. And tubeless tires took what? Half a decade? Why wasn't this sorted at launch? Ruins the classic look, people say. Then give cross spokes or dark edition from day one. That's the thing with Royal Enfield. They get so close and then just hold back. Still, I love this bike. I really hope the next update or capacity bump fixes these things. For now, this is a solid A tier for me. Scram 440. This one is a bit of an oddball. It's the only bike here not sharing its engine across multiple models. It's basically a reworked version of the old Himalayan 411 motor. Compared to the newer 450s, yeah, it's slower revving and less dynamic. But it has that tractor-like nature. It does the low RPM chugging better than any other Royal Enfield. The issue is rest of the bike. There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't do anything exceptionally well either. It'll commute, handle some bad roads, even tour, but always at a more relaxed pace. Also, don't understand why Royal Enfield removed the tachometer. The old Himalayan had it, and it actually added to the retro charm. This is one of those if you know kind of bikes. For me, it's a C tier. Classic 650. This one just doesn't make sense to me. It's basically the classic 350 with a 650 twin engine. The problem is, the 650 engine just doesn't belong here. On the 350, everything matches. Lazy engine, relaxed chassis, it just works. Here, you have a strong engine in a format that doesn't let you use it. It's also 48 kilos heavier than the classic 350, almost twice the price, and it doesn't even give you proportionate capability. So yeah, this goes into D tier for me. Hunter 350. This is probably my favorite 350 from Royal Enfield. The same J series engine, but finally in a chassis that makes city riding fun. The bike has 1717 setup, lighter feel, and it's much more flickable. And importantly, tubeless tires. And it's the cheapest RE you can buy. That's insane value. People say engine doesn't match the chassis. I completely disagree. Good handling isn't about apexes and racing. It matters even when you're riding slowly in the city. It just makes everything better. Also, I think it looks really good. If it had more power, some more tech, this could have easily been higher. But for now, B tier. Gorilla 450. This is their first truly modern liquid-cooled engine family, and it's clearly aimed at KTM territory. And for the first attempt, they have really come close. This is also the second RE to come with a 1717 setup, though with a weird 160 section tire. But KTM is still ahead, faster, sharper, more refined, and better equipped. I do prefer how the Gorilla looks though. The recent update does bring better tires. If it had things like quick shifter and cruise control, it would have been seriously impressive. Even as it stands, this is a strong A tier. Shotgun 650. I genuinely don't understand this bike. It's basically a classic 650 but without the classic appeal, and no rear seat by default, and is 30,000 more expensive than that. Not to mention, it gets all the cons of the classic 650 I mentioned. At that point, this seems like a great poser bike, and the name is mighty cool, but that does not save this bike for me. For me, this is the first somewhat F tier bike. Bullet 350. Unlike the classic 350, which feels like a modern retro, the Bullet just feels old. And not in a good way, at least to me. Too much ornamentation, those gold elements, it feels overdone. The taller handlebar and softer suspension also make it worse handling than the classic. But I can see where it fits. Put it in a rural setting next to a tractor and both will feel perfectly at home on broken roads. Also, it's one of the cheapest REs. Still, for me, this is a D tier. Goan Classic 350. Despite the name, this feels closer to Meteor in terms of posture, and I'm not a fan of that. It does look cool and interestingly gets tubeless spoke wheels as standard, but that tall curved handlebar and one of the least loaded up front ends really hurts the handling, amongst the worst in the lineup. For chill cruising, I'd still pick the classic 350 or even the Hunter. Also, it's about 40,000 more expensive than classic. Easy F tier for me. Meteor 350. Some really good friends of mine absolutely love this bike, but this posture isn't actually most optimum for touring long distances or broken roads of India. Has all the flaws of scooter ergos of road imperfections hitting the spine, and unlike scooters, this isn't even great in the city. To me, this type of bike made sense in the early Thunderbird era when we just didn't have large number of comparatively higher cc bikes to tour our country. But today, that's just not the case. For me, this is a D tier. Super Meteor 650. This is RE going after Harley style cruisers. And yeah, it does that well visually. But from a riding perspective, this is opposite of what I enjoy. Really heavy, terrible cornering clearance, very less weight and communication with the front end. It just doesn't work for someone who likes to ride actively. Also, it's the most expensive Royal Enfield. It's the clearest F tier for me. Bear 650. This one really frustrates me. So much potential feels unfinished. Rear suspension isn't great, no tubeless option, even though lower bikes in the lineup now have it. And knowing RE, we are waiting for what, another 5 years? Seat height is higher and wider, making it harder to manage for short riders like me. Also, while the exhaust is louder, I miss the stereo twin can feel from the Interceptor or GT. Despite the higher price, it's not necessarily more capable. When this was leaked, I thought this would be a proper evolution of Interceptor, fixing everything. Instead, Royal Enfield fixed some of the things and introduced new problems. It's not a bad bike, but it could have been so much more. For me, this is a B tier. GT650. What a beautiful motorcycle. In some colors and angles, I'd say it looks even better than the Interceptor. That single seat cafe style look, unreal. And that twin exhaust note, properly awesome character. But then you ride it. The chassis isn't confidence inspiring, the posture is aggressive like an R15, but without matching its sharp and precise handling. So it ends up being more of a style machine than a proper cornering weapon. Ironically, I enjoy cornering more on the Interceptor 650. This goes to B tier for me. Himalayan 450. Man, what a bike. This is Royal Enfield at its closest to getting everything right. New liquid cooled engine, proper suspension, serious capability. This is their answer to the KTM 390 and it's a strong one. The TFT is excellent and finally Royal Enfield have given it tubeless crossspokes. But still, it's not perfect. The engine lacks a bit of character and no cruise control or no quick shifter. And it's top heavy. This is so close to being an S tier, but for now, this is a strong A tier for me. And there you have it. This is my tier list, but I want to know yours. And remember, this is all relative. A bike that doesn't work for me might be perfect for you. So as always, go take a test drive before you decide. And yeah, drop your thoughts below. And if you've watched till the very end, do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching.